By your command.
Speak, Centurion.
The final planet constructed of colonies has suffered a continuing pandemic known as COVID-19. Our raiders have been reconstructed to stand by to annihilate all humanoid civilization.
And welcome back to Neon Fast 8. Now on this week's episode, Battlestar Galactica. And no, not the groundbreaking Glenn Larson production from 1978, and not even Galactica from 2004, and most definitely not Richard Hatch's 1999 attempt with Battlestar Galactica's Second Coming, but Trendmasters' 1996 toy line based upon the short-lived comic book series by Maximum Press Publishing. So let's take a closer look at this much overlooked exercise in From Print to Plastic. Okay, so here we go. So there are 5 action figures available in this line, and one of those is an exclusive mail away. Further complementing this line, we have the addition of 2 vehicles, the Cylon Raider and the Colonial Viper, both of which we'll take a closer look at later and do a quick comparison between them and 2 of the original vehicles as produced by Mattel from 1978. So first up we have the Colonial Warrior Starbuck. Now I think you'll agree that the packaging lends itself to the source material perfectly. It looks great, stands out, leaps out at you. And as you would expect on the reverse, additional colour photographs of everything else available in this line. Now each of these action figures stand at around 6 inches tall. Most of them have between 5 and 7 points of articulation, and as you can see, numerous accessories. But on closer inspection I think you'll agree that these figures are really well detailed and worthy of any collector. I think they're superb. Now Trendmasters had a good handle on a lot of franchises in the 1990s. So the remake of Lost in Space, they did that, Godzilla, and obviously Independence Day. But up next we have the main villain himself, the Imperious Leader, the leader of the Cylons. So here we have him. Now he comes with his staff, Mask of Pain, he has clip-on wings as well. But if you grew up with the original TV show or collected the original action figures from Mattel, I think you'll agree this looks nothing like the Imperious Leader that we know. Now, I'm not 100% about this, but this kind of reminds me of the prop that they actually used at Universal Studios for the Battlestar Galactica tour many, many years ago. So maybe they've drawn some inspiration from that. Anyway, on closer inspection, you'll notice that there's a button on the chest. Now, these action figures were available either on the blister card like this or in a box of their own. So if you bought the boxed versions, you could activate this button and get additional lights and sounds, which is a really cool feature for such a small line. But again, the detail is pretty impressive. Anyway, moving on. Up next, everybody's favourite, the Cylon Centurion. So this is the Cylon Commander. Now, as you may or may not know, the Cylon Commanders were always in gold. But let's just activate his chest feature, see if he still works. And yes, boom! It lights up red, great. But I think you'll agree, these look fantastic. Yeah, I'm pretty chuffed with these. Now, following that, we have the foot soldiers themselves, the Cylon Centurions. So again, easily separated. So the Cylon Centurions are in silver. Exactly the same sculpt as before, just with a different paint scheme. But each come with a weapon, the spring-loaded missiles, and obviously the detachable sword. A great looking figure, nonetheless. Now, these figures, especially here in the UK, were difficult to find, so the only way we could obtain them was through adverts in specialist magazines, which leads me to the exclusive Hangar 18 Stealth Cylon, limited to 5,000 pieces worldwide. This is the first and only time we ever saw this. How cool does that look? So the same sculpt as the previous 2, but in black. That looks awesome, doesn't it? And expands the Battlestar Galactica universe somewhat as well. Fantastic. Now, let's have a look at the 2 vehicles. Both of these vehicles from Trendmasters feature additional electronic lights and sounds requiring two AA batteries. And although out of scale to the action figures themselves, each vehicle comes complete with its very own spring-loaded missile system, retractable landing gear and scaled pilot. Overall, these two vehicles are highly detailed, contributing to the overall appearance of this set. But how do they compare to Mattel's original line from 1978? Firstly, Mattel's Colonial Viper, as seen here on the left, is dwarfed by Trendmasters' adaptation. However, Mattel's Viper closely resembles the vehicle as seen in the original television show, whilst the Trendmasters version bears more of a resemblance to the Mark II Viper as seen in 2004. Even the miniature Colonial Warrior has received a makeover. The original Cylon Raider, as seen here on the left, is arguably the better interpretation of the two, albeit smaller. Although Trendmasters have scaled up their vehicle, it fails to capture some of the more recognisable details of its predecessor. But that said, where Trendmasters lacks in detail, they've more than made up in scale and overall functionality. And although 17 years apart, both Mattel and Trendmasters have made a worthy contribution to the continuing legacy that is Battlestar Galactica. Anyway, that about wraps up this week's episode. I hope you found it of interest. But again, a big thank you to everyone who's subscribed to the channel. It really does mean a lot, so thank you very much. But until next time, thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
Oh, I got a live one here.